The US dollar opened Tuesday's trading session lower across Iraq, signaling another notable movement in the country's parallel currency market. According to the latest market survey, the dollar hovered around 150,000 Iraqi dinars per 100 US dollars in both Baghdad and Erbil, reflecting a decline from the previous trading day. The change has attracted attention from traders, businesses, and citizens who closely monitor exchange rate movements every day, because even relatively small fluctuations can affect import costs, commercial transactions, and public sentiment about the economy. While the market has seen frequent ups and downs in recent months, Tuesday's decline indicates that demand for the US dollar eased compared with Monday's trading session. According to the latest figures reported by Shafaq News, Baghdad's major currency exchanges in Al-Kifah and Al-Harithiya recorded the US dollar at 149,600 Iraqi dinars per 100 US dollars. This represented a noticeable decrease compared with Monday's level of 150,800 dinars per $100. The decline of approximately 1,200 dinars per $100 in just one trading session was enough to draw significant attention throughout Iraq's financial markets. These exchange centers are widely regarded as the primary indicators of movement in Iraq's parallel currency market, and many exchange shops across the country adjust their prices based on activity in these major trading locations. Within Baghdad itself, local exchange shops reflected similar trends. The selling price reached approximately 150,000 Iraqi dinars per 100 US dollars, while the buying price stood at around 149,000 dinars. The difference between buying and selling prices represents the normal operating spread maintained by exchange businesses. This spread allows exchange companies to manage market risks while earning revenue from daily currency trading activities. Although the spread varies slightly from one exchange office to another, Tuesday's figures remained generally consistent across the capital. The Kurdistan region also experienced similar market conditions. In Erbil, exchange offices offered the US dollar for sale at approximately 150,050 Iraqi dinars per $100, while purchasing dollars from customers at around 149,900 dinars. The relatively small difference between Baghdad and Erbil demonstrates that currency prices remained closely aligned across Iraq, despite regional differences in commercial activity and local demand. Such consistency often indicates that the overall market is responding to nationwide economic factors rather than isolated regional developments. Currency movements in Iraq's parallel market are influenced by several interconnected factors. One of the most significant drivers is the balance between supply and demand for US dollars. When demand for dollars increases among importers, travelers, investors, or businesses, exchange rates generally move higher in the parallel market. Conversely, when demand weakens or dollar supply improves, exchange rates often decline, as witnessed during Tuesday's trading session. Import activity remains one of the largest contributors to demand for foreign currency in Iraq, since the Iraqi economy relies heavily on imported consumer goods, food products, electronics, automobiles, machinery, construction materials, and medical equipment. Businesses require substantial amounts of US dollars to pay international suppliers. Whenever import demand rises sharply, pressure on the parallel market usually increases. On the other hand, when import activity slows, or sufficient dollars become available through official banking channels, the market often experiences reduced upward pressure. Another important factor affecting exchange rates is the Central Bank of Iraq's foreign currency distribution mechanism. Through official banking channels, the central bank provides dollars for legitimate trade and commercial purposes at the official exchange rate, subject to regulatory requirements and documentation. Changes in the efficiency of this system can significantly influence the parallel market. If businesses obtain foreign currency more easily through official channels, dependence on the parallel market tends to decrease, helping stabilize exchange rates. When access becomes more restricted or documentation requirements delay transactions, more participants may turn to exchange shops. Increasing demand in the parallel market, market expectations also play an important role. Currency traders constantly monitor domestic economic developments, government policies, regional events, international financial news, oil prices, and statements from monetary authorities. Expectations regarding future exchange rates often influence current trading behavior. If traders believe the dollar will become cheaper in the near future, they may postpone purchases, reducing immediate demand. Similarly, if they expect higher prices ahead, buying activity may accelerate. Oil revenues continue to serve as the foundation of Iraq's financial system. Iraq remains one of the world's largest oil exporters, and the majority of government revenue comes from crude oil exports. Since these exports are largely priced in US dollars, fluctuations in global oil markets indirectly affect Iraq's supply of foreign currency. Strong oil revenues generally improve the government's financial position and enhance the availability of dollars within the banking system. This can contribute to greater exchange rate stability over time. Government fiscal policy is another important consideration. Budget implementation, public sector salary payments, infrastructure spending, and investment projects all influence liquidity within the domestic economy. Increased government spending can stimulate commercial activity and, in some cases, increase demand for imported goods, thereby raising demand for foreign currency. Conversely, more restrained spending may reduce immediate pressure on the exchange market. Businesses across Iraq carefully observe these daily exchange rate movements because currency costs directly affect operating expenses. Importers purchasing products from overseas must calculate future inventory costs based on expected exchange rates. A weaker dollar relative to the Iraqi dinar can reduce import costs, while a stronger dollar generally increases expenses that may eventually be reflected in retail prices for consumers. Retail businesses also monitor exchange rates when determining product pricing strategies. Many imported goods sold in Iraqi markets, including household appliances, smartphones, electronics, clothing, automobiles, pharmaceuticals, and industrial equipment, are purchased using US dollars. Even relatively modest fluctuations in exchange rates can influence wholesale prices and profit margins. Consumers likewise pay close attention to the currency market. Families often monitor exchange rates because changes can influence the prices of imported food, medicine, fuel-related products, household goods, and educational materials. Although a single day's movement may not immediately change retail prices, sustained trends over several weeks or months can have broader effects on inflation and purchasing power. Financial institutions, commercial banks, and investment firms continuously evaluate currency developments as part of broader economic assessments. Exchange rate stability contributes to confidence among investors and businesses planning long-term projects. Predictable currency conditions help companies estimate future costs more accurately and reduce uncertainty surrounding commercial transactions. International developments can also affect Iraq's currency market. Changes in global interest rates, major central bank decisions, geopolitical developments, commodity prices, international trade conditions, and regional security situations may all influence investor sentiment and capital flows. Although Iraq's exchange market is primarily driven by domestic factors, global financial conditions remain an important part of the overall picture. Market participants also monitor the difference between Iraq's official exchange rate and the parallel market rate. The official exchange rate, established by the Central Bank of Iraq, remains separate from prices observed in private exchange markets. The parallel market reflects independent buying and selling activity among exchange companies, traders, businesses, and individuals. Differences between these two rates often fluctuate depending on market conditions, regulatory measures, and foreign currency availability. Throughout recent years, Iraqi authorities have implemented various measures aimed at improving transparency within the foreign exchange market. These initiatives have included strengthening banking compliance procedures, enhancing electronic payment systems, improving financial reporting standards, and expanding oversight of foreign currency transactions. Such efforts seek to support financial stability while facilitating legitimate commercial activities. Digital banking and electronic payment systems continue expanding throughout Iraq. As more businesses adopt modern financial technologies, authorities hope that improved banking infrastructure will enhance efficiency in foreign currency transactions. Increased use of electronic payments may gradually reduce dependence on cash-based transactions and improve transparency within the financial sector. Commercial confidence also influences exchange rate behavior. Businesses tend to increase imports and investment during periods of economic optimism, potentially increasing demand for foreign currency. Conversely, uncertainty may encourage companies to postpone expansion plans or reduce inventory purchases, temporarily easing demand for dollars. Seasonal factors sometimes contribute to changes in currency demand as well. Religious holidays, school seasons, agricultural cycles, tourism activity, and major commercial events can all influence purchasing behavior and import requirements. These seasonal patterns may produce temporary increases or decreases in demand for US dollars throughout the year. The relatively modest difference between Baghdad and Erbil exchange rates during Tuesday's trading reflects a fairly balanced national market, while slight regional variations are normal due to transportation costs, local demand, and commercial activity. Closely aligned prices generally indicate efficient information flow between markets. Analysts often emphasize that daily currency fluctuations should be viewed within the context of broader market trends, rather than isolated events. Exchange rates naturally experience routine movement as buyers and sellers adjust positions throughout each trading session. Sustained trends over longer periods typically provide more meaningful insights into underlying economic conditions. For businesses involved in international trade, risk management remains an essential component of financial planning. Many importers carefully monitor exchange rates before finalizing purchase agreements with overseas suppliers. Small improvements in exchange rates can generate meaningful savings on large commercial transactions involving substantial quantities of imported goods. Small businesses are particularly sensitive to currency movements because they often operate with narrower profit margins than larger corporations. Exchange rate stability enables these businesses to forecast inventory costs, maintain competitive pricing, and manage cash flow more effectively. Households also benefit from stable currency conditions. Predictable exchange rates contribute to more stable prices for imported consumer goods, allowing families to better manage monthly budgets. Although inflation depends on many factors beyond exchange rates alone, Currency stability remains an important contributor to overall price stability. Economic diversification continues to be an important long-term objective for Iraq. Expanding domestic manufacturing, agriculture, technology, tourism, and private sector investment could gradually reduce reliance on imported goods over time. Increased domestic production may eventually lessen demand for foreign currency while creating additional employment opportunities throughout the country. Infrastructure development also supports long-term economic growth. Investments in transportation networks, electricity generation, communications, industrial zones, and logistics facilities may improve business efficiency and encourage greater domestic production. Stronger infrastructure can enhance competitiveness while supporting sustainable economic expansion. Foreign investment remains another area of interest. Investors typically consider currency stability among several factors when evaluating opportunities in emerging markets. Transparent financial regulations, efficient banking systems, and predictable exchange rate conditions contribute positively to the overall investment climate. Educational initiatives aimed at improving financial literacy have also become increasingly important. Better public understanding of exchange rates, inflation, banking services, and investment principles can help individuals make more informed financial decisions while reducing unnecessary market speculation. Market observers will continue monitoring upcoming trading sessions to determine whether Tuesday's decline represents the beginning of a broader trend or simply a temporary adjustment following previous gains. Currency markets often experience periods of correction after rapid movements in either direction, making continued observation essential before drawing longer-term conclusions. Businesses, financial institutions, importers, exporters, investors, and consumers are all expected to remain attentive to future developments. Daily reports from major exchange markets, such as Al-Kifah and Al-Harithiya, will continue providing valuable indicators regarding market direction and overall trading conditions. At the same time, the Central Bank of Iraq's monetary policies, official banking procedures, oil revenue performance, government fiscal management, and broader economic reforms will remain central factors influencing the country's financial outlook. Stable monetary policy, combined with efficient financial management, can contribute to improved confidence across domestic and international markets. As Tuesday's trading session progresses, participants throughout Iraq's financial sector will continue evaluating supply and demand conditions, commercial activity, and broader economic indicators. Exchange rates may fluctuate further during the day as trading volumes increase and market participants respond to new information. It is important to note that the figures discussed in this report refer to Iraq's parallel market exchange rates observed during Tuesday's opening trading session. These market rates are separate from the official exchange rate established by the Central Bank of Iraq for official banking transactions. As of this update, no official Iraqi Dinar revaluation, RV, or official change to the Central Bank of Iraq's exchange rate has been announced by the Iraqi government or the Central Bank of Iraq. The movements described reflect routine fluctuations within the parallel currency market based on supply, demand, and normal trading activity, rather than any official change in Iraq's monetary policy.